Hello guys, Sparring Cat, and in today's Battle Cats video, I am ranking all of the cat-based cat cannons from worst to best on a tier list. So we're going to have an S tier and we're going to go down to D tier. And as you can see here, we have all 8 of the cat cannons, and we will rank them. Alright, so starting off the list with our one and only S tier. I know you can make a case for Holy Blast, maybe even the default, but I'm putting Breaker Blast in because of the knockback, it breaks barriers, and it's one of the best generalist cat cannons. A lot of the cannons on this list you could only use in a few different situations, so the Breaker Blast defines that. You could knock enemies back, you could break barriers, and it could be very effective in some situations. So I will put it in S tier. Moving on, we'll go to A tier. In A tier, we have a few. So we have the default, which I believe deserves an A because it clears enemies out, it does its job, and interrupts attacks, and everybody has it, so it's the most accessible, and it's one of the cans that you can get away with putting in any loadout. So that should be an easy A tier for me. I should start moving them in while I talk, save a little bit of time, but that will be an A tier. And another A tier I have is Holy Blast. Now, for Holy Blast, you're going to need a high level. I have a low level Holy Blast, and I was telling myself, why do I use this? So I'm upgrading that now. Holy Blast, it deals a ton of damage to zombies, especially reviving ones, burrowing ones. It takes, I believe, 40% of their health, 45% of their health or something, and standing zombies, it saps 15% of their health. Something like that at max level. Pretty crazy stuff, especially with the burrowing zombies. So you want to upgrade that because, especially in Heavenly Tower, what is it, 446? That's where I got stuck on. There's a Diablo and a Wawa, and combined they're really tough, but once you kill the Diablo, from what I've heard, it's a lot easier. And Holy Blast is almost mandatory in most of these people's lineups. So if you're able to get it high level, it's a productive one. And even though it's only strong against one trait, you don't want to use it outside of zombie. But even though it's only strong against that one trait, it's very effective. It might be the best it might be the best niche cannon on this list, other than the Breaker Blast breaking barriers, but it's up there. Alright, so moving into B tier, I do have a couple in the B tier. I have Thunderbolt. A lot of people rank Thunderbolt lower than this, but from my experience, a high level Thunderbolt does do well. It's not as good as the other 3 cannons I've listed, but Thunderbolt, where is it? Thunderbolt right here. I would give it a B, maybe a B plus. That might be pushing it, but I would give it a B just because it could freeze all of the enemies in that one area. And when there's an aggressive front and you could freeze for a second or two, it really does give you more time to get your support in. If you have an Uber coming in, you can do that. You can interrupt attacks. You can get a Bahamut hit or whatever. So, you can sneak some damage in, which is the only cannon here that could freeze. So that's pretty nice, except for the Holy Blast at high level. The Holy Blast at high level, I believe, does freeze, but the Thunderbolt is somewhat reliable. There's some enemies that are immune to freeze, but not too many in the game, and it's pretty reliable. Sometimes it does miss, though, so be careful of that. I'm probably going to give it a straight B. Moving on from that, I have the Slow Beam in the B tier as well. The Slow Beam's in a lot of lineups. There's a lot of strategies with it. It's not my first choice for a cannon, but it's usually in the top 3, 4, 5 I consider. So I would consider it a good middle-of-the-pack cannon. It has good usages. If there's a fast enemy, you can slow it, or if you need more time or whatever. So it does its job. It's not so much a damage factor, but it's a crowd control, so it's pretty useful in that regard. I would give it a B as well. So it will join the Thunderbolt in B tier. And these last 3 are either really situational or really bad. So I'm going to start with really bad, and we have the Iron Wall. And it spawns a metal cat or something like that. I've never seen it absorb any damage or protect my units at all. Enemies could attack through it. Wave doesn't block waves or anything. And if you send it out and you're against an ostrich or whatever, and critical hits it, it's gone. And that's your cat cannon. So you gain this shield, which does very little. And on top of that, that is your cat cannon. So you don't get the crowd control of the normal cannon. You don't get the damage that the Holy Blast might do to zombies. So you're sacrificing all of that for an iron wall, which really should be named to glass wall, and is bad. It's no doubt the worst on this list. And if you guys disagree with that, comment down below. It's always interesting hearing other people's perspectives on these ratings, but Iron Wall should be the lowest on this list. So we have Curse Blast next, and Curse Blast is not very good. Most people, they see Curse, and their eyes widen and they water. And to be true, Curse is pretty good if you can get uptime. Same thing with Boomerang Cat. When everybody got him, we all expected him to be a powerhouse because he can curse 3 different traits. But then you realize the big thing with cursors, they're very situational. And that's no stranger to the Curse Blast, because the Curse Blast not only does it have a low uptime, but if you use it at a bad time and, it doesn't curse the enemy and your enemies still get cursed, then really what good is it? It's a C-. It's not the same level as the Iron Wall, which I feel has no usage at all, or very little, to be generous. But the Curse Blast, it could be situational. You might get a good curse off, but it's going to be very short uptime. And if you miss, then once again, you're losing your cat cannon for that. So it's going to get a C-. If you could use it correctly, all the power to you. And my last ranking will also be a C tier, and we have the Water Blast. And the Water Blast does damage against metal, but it will only do approximately 1 damage to non-metal enemies. So you want to make sure to use it against metal enemies if you decide to use it, but I've always thought that using critical hitters and anti-metal units are more effective, and you pair it with a normal cat cannon, for crowd control, move them back, whatever, slow them. But the Water Blast has always seemed to be outclassed. It's not as bad as the Curse Blast, but it has become obsolete due to strong anti-metal specialists and the combination of generalists, taking care of the other part of the stage. So this cat cannon falls short of a lot of people's expectations. It's not too strong, and once again, it's very niche reliant. You're not going to use it against non-metal enemies, and even against this niche, it's only decent, so it gets a C. This is my tier list for all of the cat cannons. We have Breaker Blast at the top, and we go all the way down to Iron Wall. If you guys agree, disagree, have any thoughts on the video, please make sure to comment down below. Always appreciate the feedback. If you guys pick up on anything I said that was incorrect or, you disagree with, once again, make sure to comment that down below. If you enjoyed the video, comment that too. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you never miss another upload. You guys don't want to do that. But Spartan Cat signing off. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.